Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a large size of a slimline card. The measurements are 4 and 5/16 of an inch and then 8.5 inches long. I'm using different items, Long Fawn Merry Mice for Chibitronics, Dandy Day. Then from my favorite things I'm using this cloud stencil for my background. From Mama Elephant I am using the offset rainbow, and from Waffle Flowers I'm using the Cuteaway Alpha. So these are the biggest items that I'm using. So here I'm first starting with my background, and therefore I'm using that stencil from my favorite things, as well as cracked pistachio, my favorite distress ink color that is there. And I'm just blending my way up using the different sides of this stencil. So for the images, I'm using my Ink on 3 Fade Out No Line Coloring Detail ink, and I'm stamping them out on Strathmore Bristol Smooth because I'm doing some no line coloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. So for the coloring, as always, I will be putting those colors that I'm using down below in this video. And as usual, I am first tracing those edges of my images. I am blending that out with the blender, and then I come back in with those same colors and I just keep adding layers until I'm happy with the depth that is created and the shadows all around. Now that the coloring is done, it's time to take those matching dyes, and I'm adhering it with some purple tape just to make sure that it won't shift while die cutting. Now that I have all my images, I can continue with the rest of my elements. Now I'm first doing my sentiments. So I took those Cuteaway Alpha, which will say good luck, and I will have to die cut that O a second time. But I just have taken a piece of scrap Strathmore Bristol Smooth, and now I'm using my zigs to give these letters a bit of color. And my colleague who I'm giving this card to really loves greens, so I decided that I would do the same greens as I did the dandelions in. Next up is the cloud for beneath the rainbow, therefore I'm using some white felt. I decided to use some felt because I retrieved them from my stash and I really wanted to use it. So for the offset rainbow, I also took a piece of Strathmore Bristol Smooth, and I'm going to blend the colors on top. I am using some reds for the smallest piece of the rainbow, and normally it's the other way around, but because she likes greens and such, I really wanted to make them a bit of the largest parts of the rainbow green, so therefore I switched the colors around. And I'm always using a combination of two colors of distress ink so that there can be a gradient going from lighter to darker. I just realized that I didn't introduce this card as being also one of my challenge crafty friend cards, so I'm doing that now. So me and Julia from Craft Room Adventures, we have been doing some challenges for a while now, as you can see on my channel, as well as on Instagram and such. This is also one of them, because a rainbow always makes everyone happy, or I think that is the case. In my opinion, it's the case. So we actually gave each other a challenge to create a rainbow card, and this is my participation for that one. So you will also find her links down below in my box here. And I hope that you will take a look at her card as well, because she always creates the most amazing cards. But yeah, this is a Challenge a Crafty Friend card as well. I'm just combining it with my colleague leaving the office as well. So I'm still blending that rainbow and I'm almost finished. Still a few rays to go. And then all the elements are there and I can start with assembling the card. So for the assembling, I am starting first with my rainbow, and therefore I am using that leftover negative from this die, and I'm going to inlay those rays. And I must admit, I have this rainbow die for a long time. I really adore it. As soon as it came out, I had to have it, and I bought it, and then I actually made like one card with it. It's ridiculous. It's not that much, but you will see it later on. I am always fiddling with those rays because I really like that you have those gaps between them. But when you peel off that the negative, then everything comes with it, and I just cannot get it in smoothly. So that's why I'm not using this one often. But it's truly adorable, and I love the result that you get with it, so I should do it more, and maybe then it will go a bit smoother, but for now I am fiddling like a crazy person. So now I am taking my cloud, and I could see a bit of those rays through it. I didn't like that, so I die cut a white piece of cardstock and I place it behind the felt, and this way you couldn't see through it anymore, and I really liked it much better. So for the felt, I decided to use my roller because I didn't want any liquid glue to seep through it, so this was a handy solution. And now I'm placing my elements all over this card. I really like this alphabet die from Waffle Flowers. It's such an elegant die, and those are big but such tiny small words at the same time. It's really lovely. So having placed all this, I decided that I wanted to have some of those fluttering dandelion pieces all around, and I thought I would stamp it out with my cracked pistachio as well, but in the end it actually didn't show up that much. It's also distress ink, so it's not that handy to stamp out images with, but you will see later on that I am going over these ones using Evergreen Bough, because it's in my opinion the darker version of the distress ink cracked pistachio, and I really liked actually that I did that, but that will be later on. I was still figuring out what I was going to do with it. So I'm going to glue everything down now using some liquid glue, some foam squares and such. So now I decided to add some embellishments, and therefore I took the little things from Lucy's cards, Wildemess, and I'm just scattering it around. It's a combination of clear, green, blue, sequins, which is truly adorable. I love those mixes from little things from Lucy's cards. And I'm going to adhere them using some liquid glue. Fiddling it a bit with placement, and then I'm gluing everything down. I will also add some stickles onto those dandelions that the mice are holding. And then, as I told you before, I will also stamp out those fluttering dandies again using the Evergreen bowl. And then I had to trim off that excess rainbow and adhere this to a card base. For the card base I cut down some Neenah 110 because, as you already knew, this size is a bit bigger than normal. I just measured how wide my envelope was, and we were going to sign this card with all the colleagues, so I needed some space. Therefore, I just measured and made the largest card that I could create for my colleague. And then this card is finished. I hope that you like this card design. The size is a bit unusual, but it worked out for the scene that I created. I think if you have any questions, you can always leave them down below. I'm so grateful for you all to stop by. Don't forget, this is a Challenge a Crafty Friend, so please check out Julia's card as well. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!